Welcome to Season 3 of Off Script with Sam Monk, Senior Leader of Equippers Church. We're talking about what's worked, what hasn't, and leadership lessons from the journey. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back. So great to have you here. Hey, if any of these sessions have been blessing you, you got something from it, please do let us know. Like, subscribe, do all that jazz. Today is a special day because we've got Steve Graham, the amazing Steve Graham with us. And Steve's been part of our team for a number of years now, been part of the movement that we're a part of. And he's got an amazing story. But Steve not only has an amazing story, he has the ability to wrap great language around deep topics. He has started a college in the UK. He was leading the college here before that. He's led other Bible college institutions over his life, pastored a church, got kids involved in ministry at the moment. But it'd be great just for people to hear a little bit of your story. You know, born in Taranaki.
Yep. I feel like, I don't know how much to go into, but I feel like we're a bit of a miracle of the fruit of church. So, born my dad in and out of prison. So it was a church that hey, there's this solo mum with two kids in the state housing area whose husband's just come to faith. Can someone look after them? So I'm the local community kid that a church looked after while the dad was in prison and stuff. So I'm very, very grateful for church.
Come on.
Changed the script of my life, really.
And you talk about somebody who picked you up on a weekly basis.
I was, so my dad made a commitment, didn't last. My mum made a commitment, didn't last. So the church appointed this 19-year-old guy to drive across town, pick up me and my brother, 4 5-year-olds, and every Sunday did it for 3 years. So, that's an investment in the local community kids. I've still got the little book from a 5-year-old Sunday school Christmas.
Amazing.
So just man, that's what you can do. But I think it's that whole thing of legacy, next generation. They would have no idea the fruit 40, 50 years later of their investment in these couple of little community kids.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how God has woven your story together. We've got a pastor on staff named Barrett Rook.
Yeah, we lived on opposite sides of the city dump. That's the part of, we joke, our school was bordered on the city dump. It was a pretty rough part of town.
And years later, now on the same team, working the same mission. It's
amazing connections.
Yeah, and he's got his own story just within there, but got involved in youth ministry pretty early on as well.
So again, became a Christian through a ministry in our high school. So I've seen the value of that. And then, again, I'm so passionate about kids ministry, youth ministry, because, as a kid that happened then as a 15-year-old at a big youth conference, found myself standing at the front of the Wellington town halls, I want to give my life to serve God. And so, I'm so passionate about creating those moments for teenagers because I know, again, you can say it's all emotion and it's no, I'm still living that out 58 years later, that moment.
You're not that old, man.
No, I got the maths wrong. 40 plus years later. But yeah, and so 6 years later, I finished a degree at university. I wanted to be a psychology lecturer and I just felt God I'd forgotten about that moment actually as a 15-year-old. And God reminded me of it and said, you said that I could have your life. And I was like, well, yeah, I did. And it's, again, logic is if I'm going to change direction, now's the time. Otherwise, the next 10 years are planned. So I was like, okay, God, you got summer. If you got a different plan for me, let me know. Otherwise, I'm enrolled at a master's. So I went back to a youth camp. The guy leading it just said, hey, you should come and work for us. So I was like, I think that's it. That's the call. And so, proper maths, 43 years later from that point, I've been in ministry from when I was 21 to now.
Wow. And when you made that decision, were you married or?
No, I was just finished university, 21, to not carry on with masters, go back, start youth ministry. Actually met my wife in youth ministry.
Yeah.
We got
You
married.
were a worship leader too, weren't you?
Oh yeah, that's a bit sad. We won't go there. Those are in the bad old days.
Hey, whatever it takes. I love the whatever it takes attitude.
Yeah. I think I got sacked when someone finally listened to the audio feed and like, that guy can't actually sing.
Oh, God. I say bring it back, man. Bring it back.
Me and Barrett, yeah, we can do it. But and then part of that, we're involved in discipleship. My wife and I took a short-term team to the Philippines to what was the rubbish dump there with the poor, and just sounds a bit crazy, standing on top of this rubbish dump, 10,000 people. My wife and I just said, God, would you release us from what we're doing in New Zealand? Would you let us come back?
Wow, amazing.
And so, a year or so, we were back with a 12-week-old baby and spent 7 years in the Philippines.
7 years in the Philippines, and in a very volatile part of the Philippines as well.
Yeah, so we're in the capital and working in the poor slums there. And then, again, we're a bit crazy when we were young. The southern Philippines there was a lot of war between Muslim separatist groups and stuff, and like you could get a missionary visa to go there, and we're like, well, someone should go there, and like if not us, who?
Yeah.
So
wow.
we thought, well, we should go there. So we were living there with 3 little kids. Like there was literally, we mistakenly bought a house that we realized later was on the escape route for the kidnappers. So there was a tank and a machine gun post at the corner of our road, not to protect us, but to try and stop the kidnappers. But we were safe. The kids were fine. And yeah, it was, to be honest, I wasn't actually very good as a missionary. I found out I'm not very good at that. What I found out, I have a passion for mission, but I love the network idea, the difference between your passion and your gift. My passion is mission, but my gift is training people for that.
Wow.
It took me a long time to realize, like, this is my lane.
When did that sort of hit home for you big time?
So then we came back and, stuck in a slum in Manila, I wasn't that good. Stuck in a Muslim area, I wasn't that good. So we were pastors for 9 years. It was okay, but it's like I had this dream and it's like I couldn't take hold of it. I couldn't make it work. And so to be honest, really it was, and then I was involved in a college. I don't know, it's hand on heart, the last 15 years with Equippers has been the most fulfilling time of my life, because it's like, I've found my lane. Like, I love being part of a movement, but I'm not the one who could make that happen. But I know that I can bring something of value into this movement.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I just love how fulfilling that is.
So is it more around the fact that you got people who share the same mission and the same heart, but you bring you to the table and that complements other...
I often say to people like, I get to look good in an environment I know that I can't create.
Yeah.
Like I tried, I had this, like I literally had this dream. It felt like when I was called to be a pastor, I saw this vision of walking up to a stage to preach to 1,000 people. So when we became pastors, it was about 70 people. I thought, the church is going to grow to 1,000. At 100, I often say, we broke the 200 barrier twice, once going up through it, once coming back down. And I was just so confused. Like, I don't understand, God. I'm sure this was a God dream. But then when I came to Equippers as the Bible college guy, teacher, it's like, I get to preach to these kind of groups, but I don't have that grace of leadership to grow this thing. But I've got a grace on my life that I could serve in this vision, and be really fulfilled, but also, honoring you and others to know I'm also valued what I bring, but I value what I'm part of.
Yeah, I think that's such a big thing, that our influence is connected to one another. It's not just... I'm very aware that what God's doing is not a result of just me. It's a result of what I'm a part of. And that's a big part of our story. It's like, man, there's so many people who add into this, and God's brought us together. God's connected us. In this space, and
well, I actually I was with your dad actually in Denmark once, and I felt he was speaking to the national leadership team, and I felt God would say to me, "Oh, talk about the hand of God." I was like, "Oh, that's that image of the fivefold ministry as a hand, which, this is the apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, teacher." And I probably didn't like it because the teacher's like, just clear your ear out. But suddenly I got it, because it's like, oh, here's this dream. And I felt like me and lots of people were like, I don't understand. This is a God dream. Why can't I take hold of it? Yeah. And it's like, oh, deliberately God hasn't given me all the gifts to take hold of the dream.
Yep.
And I've realized, I need to be part of a group of people, and together we can take hold of a dream.
Yeah.
And so that's what's been so fulfilling, to see this dream being made real, and I'm a part of that, and I have something to bring, but I can't bring everything. I love this quote by John Maxwell, actually. Sounds a bit negative, but I think it's really biblical. He says, "You're good, but you're not that good," which means good. I bring something good to the table, but I don't bring everything to the table.
That's really good. Having a healthy estimate of yourself, I think, is really key in leadership. Knowing your limitations and where other people have got grace gifts. I get amazed at Steve, how he's able to color in, sometimes I'll get an outline, that's how my brain thinks, but his ability to calm in and add language, add weight from a theological perspective, not to say that, I'm not theological, but just how that gift and that grace works in that space.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, that these different gifts work together, and at best we all lift each other. So being around prophetic people draws me into that thing of a more supernatural dimension to what I'm doing. Being around evangelistic people forces me to think, like, how is this reaching out to people?
Yeah.
But I love my sense was all the teachers kind of separated off and, sat in Bible colleges and critiqued what key leaders were doing. Like, that's not good. But realizing, they need to come in behind and serve. So I think my job is to unpack the vision and values and kind of go, that intuitive hunch that people like you get, that's a whole biblical theme. Yep. Or, that was a theological theme in the 19th century. That's how I can get to serve by... I'm not in there practicing music. I've been in the library. I've done the degrees in theology to go, now I can serve by unpacking this stuff.
Tell me, in terms of how you see the correlation between how churches should relate to training institution and the crossover there between that.
Well, the thing that I like, I've led 4 different colleges, but I really love being part of a church-based college because people are coming in to be equipped to serve. They're not, because I used to, other places, I'm sick of all the armchair critics at lunchtime criticizing everything. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So to be part of it, and then to kind of be, this is the why behind the what. This is why we do something. I often say, no one says this is the only way to do it at best, but this is why we do this, and this is how we do it, and motivating people. Because my fundamental passion is mission.
Come on.
I want to motivate people to be in the mission.
Yeah.
And the local church is how God propels his mission forward. So some people are all kingdom, some people are all church. It's like, no, you need a theology that holds those together.
Yeah. And I see, looking at your journey, how God's taken every aspect, from when you're young, the journey of, getting a heart for young people, and then, mission, Philippines, leading a church. And it's like all that has added into who Steve is.
Yeah.
And 43 years, was it? Of
ministry, yeah.
Of ministry. I'm sure there's been times where, you've been disappointed and go, this is not working.
Yeah.
But now looking back over your life, you can see how God was. Do you see any patterns of,
well, I see that there's different seasons. I was in mission, then training, and then church. And I love the thought, it all comes together kind of. For me, and a lot of people, really comes together in your 40s and on, that you thought, this is my lane, this is what I'm good at. But you have to have tried these different things for a while. And I think, I was thinking about that too, even with marriage, and we've been through some things there with kids. And I think the thing, just keep turning up and keep being open and keep learning. Like I'm still,
Great.
Like God, what you're challenging me about being impatient. You're challenging me about this. It's like I'm still trying to learn and grow. And I often think, why am I just kept coming back, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we want to maintain, is just that we've never arrived at a point.
Yeah.
It's God's using everything that we're going through
Yeah.
and everything that we're gone through to bring us to moments.
Yeah.
And you go, I don't know about you, but I go, that's what that was about back there, because now I can help this person who's navigating similar things.
Yeah, and some of the vulnerability from some of the failures and struggles is what actually opens the door to the most significant ministry.
Yeah, and that's where, I know our students over the years have really valued you just opening up your journey, your heart, sharing from your life. Because, when it comes to teaching, you can teach a curriculum,
yeah,
or you can impart something.
And I think that's the other thing I love about a church-based college is we're not here to give head knowledge. We're here to form people.
Yeah.
And it's about the character. It's about the openness to the Holy Spirit. It's about the head knowledge, but it's about the whole person.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about just in terms of the forming and the develop of leadership teams as we go forward. But Steve's an amazing person, and he's a great blessing, doing incredible things for the kingdom of God. And this is a little bit of an introductory. We're going to talk a lot about New Testament church. And so tune in for the next podcast. We'd love to see you again.
Thanks for listening to Off Script with Sam Monk. If you found this podcast helpful, make sure you pass it on. We love your feedback, so drop us a line about what topics you'd like to hear about on Off Script with Sam Monk.